and welcome back to Kilohearts YouTube channel. My name is Mouse, I'm your fun-sized pop angel and producer princess, and today we're at part 3 of our 3-part mini-series Let's Make Pop. In today's episode, you're gonna hear sounds like this, sounds like this, sounds like this, and sounds like this. So if you are ready to hear all of those sounds, give us a thumbs up and let's go. We do have a pad loop which is going throughout the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. It sounds like this. I automated a tape stop and start. And I did that because it made room for my leads to come in. And so this is my ghost lead. It sounds like this. Let's take a look at ghost lead. As you can see, frequency modulation plays a huge part in getting this sound to sound the way it does. If you don't know how to use frequency modulation, which I use to get this sort of metallic sound, then here is a little demonstration. So I'm going to have an analog waveform. Let's just pick that one. We're going to have an output for it, of course, and then we're going to have an analog waveform, but it's going to be a sine wave, and it is not going to have its own output. Then as we move our cursor to this green plus sign here, we have the option to add it to the frequency and the phase. And that's what we do. And we tweak those however you might like. As you can see, we've got quite a few snap-ins. Do make sure that you pause the video and take note of what I've used if you want to have a play with recreating this sound yourself. But I'm going to focus on a few of the key elements that really make this patch what it is. We have some crazy fast modulation happening in the chorus, and also the flanger mix too. And it gives this sound a little bit of a kind of like a wobble. Let's take it off, see what it sounds like. All right. Both of those are hooked up to this sine modulator here. Secondly, I've used multipass after that on the same lane. I do have a bit of ring modulation, but on the same band, I also have a reverb. And I think it's really interesting to experiment with having reverb just on one frequency bandwidth. It kind of gives almost like more airtime to the higher frequencies. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough time to talk about exactly what's going on in all of these macros. However, I will come on to the mod wheel later because I use the same patch later on in the track. I just tweak that mod wheel ever so slightly. Then, playing exactly the same melody, I have what I have called electric trombone. What I really want to focus your attention on is the filter and how much that really gives this sound its shape. This is what our generators sound like on their own. So kind of fizzy and a filter. You can really hear that that filter is putting in work, and that of course is linked up to this envelope down here. Now you would be totally right in thinking that that filter actually removes a lot of the information that is happening in our generator groups. But adding distortion at the end gives obviously a huge boost to what's going on. Sound design, the options are pretty much infinite. So what's actually really helpful is getting your envelope right and your filters. Those add so much color, texture almost to the sound that really do make a huge impact when you're trying to design something which emulates a real instrument. Now the next thing I want to show you is a little pad called Jitter. It's exceedingly simple, but we have one key ingredient which is really giving it the spice. Of course, it is Transgate. I genuinely can't tell you how much I love this. I love this snap-in so much. I actually put it on a vocal the other day and it sounded amazing. The patterns that it gives you are just Chef's kiss. Got a square wave LFO down here, and that is synced up to the pan on our output. I've gone for a square wave, so we are really hitting hard left, hard right for the listeners. Here's the magic. So before I come on to the way that I've used Ghost Lead in the chorus, let's take a little throwback at how I used it in the verse. So this is the patch that I used, and you can see the mod wheel is up here. The way I've used it in the chorus, the mod wheel is right down at the bottom. So you can see that the sync multiplier is being changed. I also have these connected to the flanger and the chorus as well, so the mix. And this one 100% is going to the multipass. Now, if we take a look at what's going on, we of course have our reverb just on band 4, but we have a ring modulation as well. Now, this sound I'm going to show you is so important in the instrumentation of this song, and I didn't make this patch. No, definitely not. Shout out to Francis who made this. This is actually a preset. I have tweaked it a little bit. I have added another modulator. I've added a square FLO. And as we've seen before in that jitter pad, I've used that to link up to the pan of the first group of generators. And in that, of course, we're getting this really hard left, hard right sort of panning experience for the listener. The very last lead is the shimmer lead. I love the sound. I think it's really cute and pretty. Hey, what's that? More frequency modulation? You betcha. So if you've watched part 2 of this Let's Make Pop series, you'll probably know that I like, if I can, and if it makes sense and if it's appropriate for the sound I'm doing, lane 1, I have my objective processing, lane 2, my kind of subjective processing, and lane 3, anything like, you know, a limiter or something like that I need. However, this is a real exception to that. This group is just for noise, and that is going straight to lane 2 here, which is then going into lane 3 and being mixed with that coming through lane 1. Here we can really start pulling out some overtones from this noise layer, and I do that using Slice EQ. It's just so much fun. What I've done is I've used a note modulator down here to hook them up to the cutoff of the peaks. And then I've set that at 100%, so we're really getting the exact notes that I want. The gain for all of these is as high as it goes. Otherwise, it's quite hard to really make out what's going on. It's quite hard to hear. And also the Q is up as high as it goes too. Here we're being really exact, and we're really pinpointing the exact overtones that we want to complement the rest of our generators. Last but certainly not least, as we go through this 4-bar phrase, I've increased how much ladder filter is affecting this sound. So there's my automation there. I'm automating my use of the mod wheel, which is then in turn affecting what's happening in ladder filter in lane 3. Take a look. As per usual, if you've created anything which was inspired by today's video, or you have any questions, drop them down below, or come and find me on my own social media. The handle is at She's Called Mouse across all platforms. If you'd like to hear Lucid Dreaming, the track that I've been putting together through this Let's Make Pop series, then make sure you come over to my YouTube channel where you can hear the track in full and everything all together. Just make sure that when you are listening to it all together that you're subscribed. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed to Kilohearts YouTube channel for more incredible content, and hopefully I will see you all again here really, really soon.